howdy. I'm like translucent. I swear I have that on like one of the lower light settings. I am just translucent. That's better. That's better. I don't know if this will populate today or not, but I had a lot of feedback on the video I posted last night. And so I just thought I'd come on and let y'all know that I survived the drama, because once I sleep on something, I wake up and it's a new day and I just go on. I guess that's kind of how everybody is. I hope that's how everybody is. It's because it's much healthier than being focused on negativity. But yeah, I offered to actually have an adult conversation with the woman and to like sit in a space. Hello, I offered with the woman that I had the drama with on Facebook last night. I hate Facebook. There's not enough adjectives to describe how much I hate Facebook, but I survived the drama because once I sleep, the drama's gone. I'm kind of over it. But I did offer last night via Facebook. I told the woman, look, this is where I live. If you want to come have a talk, have an adult conversation, come on, roll on up. We'll have an adult conversation. I'll show you where I'm getting my information. You can show me yours, and we'll share. And we'll talk. And she went straight from getting an invite to somebody's home who's being like, let's not do this on the internet. Let's get together and actually meet each other and have a personal connection conversation too. She's trying to get me to her home to hurt her, and I was just like, society has slipped that far so quickly. It really, really has. It really, really has. But I just wanted to touch in and let y'all know that I did live through the drama last night. Drama bothers me until I go to sleep, and then I sleep and I'm kind of like, new day, I'm over it. I wish I could help everybody that is like hanging on to negative things and trying to create negative energy and trying to use what's going on in the world as a way to promote their own ego and their own demands. But I can't help everybody, and that's when, as a person, you have to realize you can't help everybody, and you just kind of have to do what you can do and go on and let it go. But I wanted to answer. I answered a question on live a few days ago. I can't remember if it was in one of my lives or somebody else's live, but I said, we don't know if Don is, or somebody said he's narcissistic. I said he's definitely narcissistic because he's not histrionic. And they are like, what is histrionic? Okay. Narcissistic and histrionic. Narcissistic people want to be in control, but they want to be in control in a good way. They want people to think good things about them. They want people to have good responses, and they want things that are said about them to be good. They want to control that and manifest that into good things, even though they do it, they get that control in bad ways. They want it to be, they want it to be remembered as a good thing. Histrionic people just want to be remembered. They don't care if it's good or bad, if they did a good or bad thing. They just want to be remembered, and they could care less if the world remembers them as bad, evil. They don't care. They're histrionic. The way I think about it is history gets to judge them because they don't give a flying fuck. So I'm sorry I said the F word, whoops. So that's how I remember that in psychology class, histrionic. Hi from Alabama. Hello, neighbor. So histrionic people, history really gets to judge them because they don't care. Narcissistic people, they want to be remembered well, and they work at being remembered well, even though they do really, really bad things. So I just wanted to explain that because I had a lot of people have questions about that. That's the differences in those two things. Which one is more dangerous? I would probably say narcissistic, because they will outright manipulate you and then present themselves publicly as a completely different entity than what you see behind closed doors. And a histrionic person is probably widely known as being just a horrible person, and so people figure them out much more quickly. But yeah, wanted to share something fun. I've been trying to, work on some content that's going to be a little bit more humorous and a little bit, everybody can just take a breath and just, some days we just need to let the world go down in flames and roast a marshmallow. Make some s'mores. So I'm having one of those days today. But I have little buttons so my dogs can talk. And so they can tell me, like, one says, I need to go outside, tinkle, tinkle, pop, pot. One says, Mama, my water bowl's empty, water me. And I've got a little Yorkie who loves eggs. And when I make my husband his late snack when he comes home from work, I've gotten to where I will make this little dog an egg. I didn't make him one last night because I didn't feel remarkably well. And this morning I woke up to him doing CPR on this.
Fry me a frickin' egg, woman.
Fry me a frickin' egg. Fry me a frickin' egg, woman. So I had to wake up, and he just came running because he thought I was fixing to fry him an egg. So, yeah. That's what I woke up to this morning. I woke up to my dog demanding a fried egg. Fried egg and coconut oil. We don't do bad coconut. We don't do bad oils for my little doggy. You have to be careful with little dog pancreases. And then I had somebody ask me because they went and watched some of my other videos about things that I've made because of my husband's trapping and my Cherokee heritage and thing. They wanted to know what is one of the things that I've made that I really like, that I've hung on to, I've never sold, but is really strange. I'm going to show it to you right now. Disclaimer, if you are like a tree hugger and work for PETA, walk away right now. You're not going to like me. Oh yeah, my little Yorkie loves eggs, and that's why I made that button. I did not think he would be so demanding, but he is demanding, yeah. These are 2 jawbones, cow jawbones I recovered from where a farmer had some cows pass away. And I put them together, made a dream catcher, and adorned it with peacock feathers. And this has been on my wall for years. And I painted it turquoise and brown and gold. And everyone that comes into my house tries to buy that from me, and it's heavy. It's like 8 pounds. I refuse to sell it though because it's one of my most favorite things that I've ever made. I have a lot of art. Thank you. I'm actually fixing to do I call it a Cody crown. So it's the tanned head and neck panel of a Cody. And I'm fixing to put it on a big I'm fixing to weave it onto a big grapevine wreath. And then I've got another one that I'm going to actually lace into a triangle frame made out of willow limbs. So I do a lot of strange things. People come at me and they're like, how dare you? And I'm like, how dare I what? Hang on to my native culture and celebrate who I am? Okay, sure. So I just kind of let them go down, you know. People like that float through your life. You just have to let them go on. They'll float somewhere else eventually. They're like mosquitoes. They'll go bother somebody else eventually. You just have to let them go. But I did want to explain the histrionic and narcissistic differences because since everyone had asked, and I had apparently responded somewhere in a live, one of mine and one of somebody else's. So now you know that. I'm working on a funny video. My son, the next bad weather day that he cannot be up in the trees, is supposed to come by and do the video about moms raising young men, raising boys into young men, and how to successfully, I don't know, deal with that little cocky behavior they have, you know. It happens to all, you know, women think my little boys are so special, and then they hit puberty and they think, what happened? It's just biology, women. It's okay. You can get through it. Don't take it personal. Parents take things way too personal. My daughter told me 15,000 times, I hate you. Okay. You're a highly emotional teenager with about 100 times the hormones coursing through your veins that you need. I would say that's probably an appropriate response when I reprimand you or give you a punishment. So that's fine. You can hate me today. Check in with you tomorrow. So just, don't feed into the negativity. I have a 22 and a 23-year-old now. Very well adjusted. Working professionals, bless their hearts, My daughter's in veterinary school and my son owns his own business and is married. And moms take things to heart. And a lot of society has stopped allowing parents to parent. Stopped allowing parents to give boundaries. They think a therapist has to correct your child instead of a parent correcting your child. And I'm like, really? Because I remember 34 hours of labor to get my first child into the world, and I don't think somebody else deserves to correct my child. If I had to push him out of my nether regions for 34 hours, I think I should get to that. And so when people look at me, like, I went to pick him up one day, he was in JROTC, and y'all know how strict those JROTC master sergeants and first sergeants and all those people are, because they've come out of the military, now they're going to straighten up these young men at these high schools, and they own them. They put them into a militant mindset. And I've been sitting there for 2 hours. They were supposed to release them. I had been there for almost 2 hours still waiting for them to release them. Apparently somebody got reprimanded, so the whole squadron got reprimanded. Well, I had worked like 13 hours that day. I drove 3 hours on top of my job because I worked an hour and a half away from home. Had circled back, come to pick up my child, and had sat there and waited like an hour and 40 minutes. And all the other parents were like, we don't know what's going on, but they won't let us in. They won't let us in. So I knocked on the door, and they said, ma'am, you can't come in. I said, you open the door because you have my juvenile minor child in this building, and I don't know what you're doing to him. But if you don't open the door, I'm going to call the popo. And so they let me in. And I came inside, and the drill sergeant was like, this is my domain. And I said, listen, okay, he came out of my vagina, so he's my domain. You had him all day. This is going an hour and 45 minutes over. I've spent all day dealing with murderers and highly aggressive, violent offenders. The last thing I want to do is have to chew you out in front of all these boys, but I own him. You don't. He hasn't signed any paperwork for the military. He was 15 or 16 at the time. I said, go get your crap, go get in the car, we're going home. I said, this is uncalled for parents that have to work. You had a time frame. You went over. I said, whoever was the little, turd that started this that needs to get punished needs to be reprimanded now on his own because everybody else has been punished enough. I said, but I'm leaving with my child, and I would suggest all you other parents come get your children too. And the first, the sergeant, he's like, you're undermining my authority. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, you are undermining mine. And I left with my kid that day. I was not their favorite person. But something? We parents put it off on everybody else, and we think that these other people, like the other parents, were like, well, we guess they deserve that. We guess they need that. No, there is no need for that to go over 2 extra hours. No need. If my child did something, that's it. Yeah, that's my style of parenting. If my child did something so heinous that you think he needs 2 extra hours of drill, tell me. Because let me tell you what, I'm going to put the fear of God into him a whole lot more than you. I know that means a drill sergeant, but let me tell you, I'm going to scare him a lot worse than you can. And so I took him home, and I looked at the other parents. I said, go get your kids. I said, they cannot hold your children hostage. I said, get your kids and go home. And then one of the guys said, you stepped on the wrong square walking out of a building. You have to stop and do 10 push-ups. And I turned around. And I said, son, if you can make me stop and do 10 push-ups, I said, I will pay for your college education. I just went and got in my car and left. I'm really not a mean person. I enjoy people. I enjoy meeting people, and I like suck people in, and I want to protect everybody, and I want to get to know everybody, and I want to have this big happy community. But then I run into people that are bullheaded and try to overstep and basically run a community out of fear or fear-based tactics or psychological tactics. And I'm sitting here going, no, it's not going to work for me. And then I become their worst nightmare because I don't comply. Non-compliance is the best gift you can give yourself, people. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. I had so many people come to me for therapy. And they came to me and they were like, well, my other therapist told me I had this problem and 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 this problem. And I was like, what? Well, yeah, and I needed this kind of therapy, this intervention, and this. What? You're a human being experiencing human emotions, having issues with the difficult emotions. There is nothing wrong with you. We just need to tweak how you manage, maneuver, and manipulate your emotions. Because it's kind of like the tide. it comes in and it goes out. Well, your tide is always coming in and you're always running. But if we can get it to push back out, you're going to have an ebb and flow where life will be, much nicer. People don't, they would come to me and I'd be like, you can't live in the highs and lows in life. This is not fun. So we want to get you here. This is much more controllable. It's much more manageable. And so I was always amazed that they would come to me and the therapist would be like they would say, you have this, and I would talk to them about their diagnosis. But I would say, these are just words that I put on paper to understand the behaviors that we are going to work on. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It is just an identifier for me to create a plan of treatment. It's a label basically is a great way to get your insurance to pay to help. And that's basically all it is, because when you come in here, you're a human being, and we're going to work on how to be a human being. When it takes a lot of work to be a human being. It takes a whole lot of work to be a good human being. Yesterday, I was an iffy human being. I was probably didn't need to be on the internet yesterday. Because I got really irritated with that woman. I got really irritated with that woman because we live in an age where you can get so much information at just the touch of a fingertip. It's just so accessible. But our favorite thing to do is to call other people ignorant. And it seems like the more capable we are to have wisdom and a higher intellect and a better understanding of our world, the favorite thing for people to do is to call other people ignorant. And I'm like, you do know that just because you think you're right here, you do understand that every state, every person in every state, every person in every country, every person in every continent, every person in every different religion, there are so many different realities. And legit, nobody's is right. We're just all kind of floating in our own little realities, and we're trying to hang on and deal with it. Nobody's is right. It's just what we perceive and how we deal with it. But we do have to kind of share and cohabitate in a shared reality so that we can have a functioning community and a functioning society. And that's what I see breaking down. And I see it breaking down because people are so reluctant to understand that they have a reality, but so does everybody else. And they don't understand that. And they don't understand that then when we come together, we have to function in yet another reality. And I don't understand how people don't understand that. It's like in my house, I can dress and act and be a slob and do whatever I want. Nobody's ever going to know. But when I leave my house, I try to look a little bit better. So not everybody knows how I will let myself go sometimes. And if I'm going to a big community function, I'm going to look really nice. Because I'm going to put on my first, my best face forward. And I'm going to try to be as polite as possible. And it's like, you do understand that that's kind of the bubbles we live in. You have your bubble, they have their bubble, and we have a shared bubble. And our shared bubble is shrinking because nobody wants to share a bubble anymore. They want to own the bubble, dictate the bubble, and run the freaking world. I don't want to run the world. I just want to have good people that I can trust to have a foundation for a community that's going to raise solid young people for the next generation so that we don't crash our world. I think we've already got it off the rails. But yeah. Yesterday I was not the nicest person. It's not the nicest person. I have those days. Nobody's perfect. We're all dysfunctional on some level. My biggest weakness is people that they try to project perfection. They try to project the perfect life. They will put themselves in debt. They will create trauma at home for the children. But it looks good on Instagram, Snapchat. So they're better than you. Really? Because your kids are crying every night. You're out of touch with your husband. You have a job that's barely paying for the lifestyle that you're living because you're so far out of your means. And yet I'm beneath you because my house is smaller and my vehicle is not as new. But I'm pretty happy. Not as stressed as you. Surrounded by people that are usually happy to see me walk in the room. And I don't go home and cry and go to bed cry over bills. So it's just we've done this to ourselves. We've done this to ourselves. No, yeah, it's called mass psychosis. It's absolutely a Twilight Zone. Do you know it only takes 5% of the population to change the momentum of the whole freaking group of people anywhere? Like if you're in a concert hall or a theater or a stadium, it only takes 5% of people to do something to shift the momentum, and the other people will join in. So you can imagine how easy it is to manipulate the world if it only takes 5% of the people. And then we wonder why people, can't see this, can't see what's going on. They can't. I mean, gosh, we've got Fauci with perjury, and then they go, he didn't lie. You just misunderstood him. Oh, wow. There's a lot of people been on the stand that judges have misunderstood. Whew, we need some post-conviction relief trial stat. I get a giggle out of it. I'm sorry, but I worry about people because this is exactly what happened. This is what started happening around the turn of the last century when we started to see, especially with the onset of the radio. The radio was, the little guy with the little, the little mustache. We shall not say his name. The reason he got so much power so quickly is because he harnessed the power of the new radio, which was the new technology to the masses. It was the new way to speak to the masses. And so it was the first time people had ever heard somebody, preach their thoughts and their vision. And he was such an impressive and manipulative speaker that people were just mesmerized, and this new technology and this new emotion and drama just kind of took them over, and they did horrible, horrible things. And I'm sitting here going, okay, now we've got new technology, we've got new emotional influencers, we've got new issues. Do y'all see it? And they're like, no. I've got chickens that can come home to roost every night that have more brains than most people I meet in the world right now, and it boggles my mind. Boggles my mind. But yeah, it worries me. Worries me. But there are good things. There are funny things. There are ways to compose yourself after you've been upset. Like, I went into humor mode all morning this morning. So, like, I've been singing all the songs that my husband hates. All the songs that make him go, please stop that. So that's all I did all morning was irritate my husband. I love to irritate my husband. It's just how we get along. I've picked on my son via Messenger all day. And I've had to rest because I've had a bad leg day because the rain that came through screwed up my left leg, and my left leg is like, not working. Hi! And so I've had to be down more today. So it's been like, who can I mentally pick on today? And so all my friends, I've been like, and so we've shared some really good jokes and laughs and picked on each other. And me and my son have this, my son's 23, we have this game we play where we see who can send the other either the worst TikTok or the worst meme or the worst GIF or whatever they're called. And they're really bad ones. Like, they're really bad ones that you shouldn't laugh at. We're human. You shouldn't laugh, but you do laugh, and you know it's wrong, but you still laugh. I have this game I play with my son, and we send these back and forth. And we know the other one when the other responds and goes, "You're going straight to hell." And I'm like, I won today. So I've been doing that. I've been doing that with my son for the last couple hours. Just purely to poke fun and to just get my brain in another way. I had such a heavy conversation with the Summer Wells issue, and I've had to do some heavy research with the Utah state law stuff, which is as convoluted as, oh my God. I've had Christmas lights 15 years old wadded up in a box for 10 years that have been easier to untangle than the Utah state laws for sex offenders. Just saying. So I'm still digging into that. But when you have a bad day, it's okay to have a crap day. We don't have crap weeks. So when I have a crap day, I try to counterbalance it, and I get up, and whether I feel like it or not, I just turn the humor on and have a good day. And so I have been hitting up the besties and playing the meme games and rocking out to a lot of good music. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, and you can't leave your head stuck in something like that all the time. It's toxic. People wondered how I worked in corrections and, did the murder pre-sentence investigations and stuff so well. You just learn to turn it off, and you set it aside mentally. You compartmentalize, and you say, I have to go and have a good day, and I have to do this for my health and well-being and my family, and you just learn to turn it off. And so I take days at a time where I walk away, and I won't know anything that's been said or done about the case until somebody says, somebody gave an interview, or did you hear? And then I'll go, if it's like a direct family member stating something, I'll go look, but the gossip I don't really get into. It has rocked this area in Tennessee. Let me just tell you. I'm about an hour and a half away, and it has rocked our area. Yeah. Oh, I picked up like 7 new books the other day at the thrift shop. I'm such a book slower. I mean, I really am. And I'm blind as a bat, so I'm fixing to have to go get new glasses again because these are getting bad. But I read constantly, and I'm always reading. I always keep like 7 to 10 books in rotation. That's how my brain works. My husband hates me for it. Yeah, you've been digging through the Utah laws. Aren't they convoluted? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've had horses come out of a pasture for a year and a half, and I mean their tails have been less tangled than the Utah state sex offender laws. And it's just like, I just want one just little sentence structure to where I can understand the answer, Utah. Hello? And so I think what I may do, if I cannot get any more clarification, I think what I may do is actually call a probation office in Utah and actually just say, hey, I need to speak to somebody. I need to understand this, and I need a sex offense officer to answer these questions, and I'm sure somebody will answer them for me. So I missed that. The little girl called the other day. I don't know. I think a lot of what's going on now is we've got some victims that are trying to heal, and they're bolstering from the support that the internet's giving them. But I'm just gonna tell you, we got a little bit of showmanship in this family too. So sometimes when they do some of these things, you have to sit back and go, okay, that was 65, maybe 70% you needed to get that out of your system, and 30% you wanted to start some minutia. Tennessee is a beautiful state. We have a governor that's useless as tits on a boar hog. But Tennessee's a beautiful state. Y'all never have to worry if I'm telling you what I think. It just comes out. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you okay? Oh my goodness. Okay, no, I have not heard about that, and I want to look into that. So like if you can go to the community page and leave me info, or go to my Instagram, Izzby Waters, IZZBY Waters. Send me a DM about that, or email me at watersworkload@gmail.com. Send me that. I want to look into that, because somebody needs their bell rung. Wow. And I will ring somebody's bell. Was it in Tennessee, or what state was it in? I had not heard anything about that. That's sad. That is scary, sad, and And I know they had like a bomb threat. I know they had a bomb threat in Hawkins County the other day, and it led to nothing. But I had not heard about that. Had not heard about that. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay, that's enough. I can probably figure it out from there. Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's figure out what the crap's going on there. You know, there are rules. There are rules that apply when you're an officer or you work in a job like that. And yes, you're there to serve and protect, but you're also there to follow state law, which means that you have to follow state law too. That's just sad. That's sad. You know, when I worked with a lot of kids that were in state's custody, it was sad because a lot of them had a lot of stories to where they had such bad events with people that were supposed to be taking care of them that they did not trust anyone. Wanted his vacation day. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you what, I got home one night, I left here at like 4:30 in the morning because where I worked was an hour ahead of me. Went to work, worked all day, worked over because I had to go and do paperwork at the jail after I got done at the office. Drive home, take a bath, sit down on my couch to watch the nightly news, and it comes up, TBI has a new top 10 offender, wanted immediately because he like cut the phone and the power to the La Follette Hospital and had a gun and was threatening if his girlfriend didn't come out. And they showed the picture of the man, and by golly gum, if it wasn't one of my freaking offenders. And I just did kind of this, and my husband said, "One of yours?" And I went, "I've got to get dressed and go back to the office." And got dressed, drove an hour and a half back to my office, did an emergency warrant, and sent it through to the parole board so I could get an emergency warrant laid on him so that they couldn't move him and do anything else, so that I could get the violation running as soon as possible. And I slept because it was like 2:30 before I got all the paperwork done. I slept under my desk until I opened the office the next day. So I don't understand why these people are not dedicated to these jobs they have. I don't get it. It boggles my mind. If you're in a job where you have the ability to structure and change lives and make people want to do better, pull people out of the ditches that they crash into in life and set them on a better path, if you have that power, why don't you use it? And if you're in a job and you don't want to use that power, get a different job. Well, you know, my thing is if something were to happen and they try to extradite him or move him and he gets loose, when I put that parole warrant on him, he has to stay there until I deal with him. I was afraid that if he got loose, that's on me. That would have been on my conscience. And that's sad. Isn't that sad that a teenager put in a position where she was just trying to reach out for help could not find it from the one place that she should be able to find it? That's sad. I used to work at a juvenile boot camp. We lived in the woods. And we made cabins, cooked over fire, did our education programs. That we only got to go into buildings for certain meals and for education programs. Otherwise, we lived in the woods. We slept in the woods. I didn't mind it. I grew up like that, you know, so it wasn't that bad. But there was a family that had adopted 3 boys from another country. And as soon as they adopted, there was an older sibling and then 2 little twins. And as soon as they got them home to the States, they looked at the oldest boy and they said, "Well, we just wanted the 2 twins, so we're going to put you in placement." Well, instead of putting him in boarding school or something like that, they put him in a juvenile boot camp for troubled kids. He didn't have any problems. Well, he didn't speak great English, but he didn't have any behavioral problems. And so he had to get his GED. And so I took him so many times to test for his GED, and he was like, "Miss I just can't get American history. And I'm like, well, you're not from America, so American history should be hard. It makes sense, right? And so we finally got his GED. He tested so far off the scope in math. I mean, he was just one of those brains that, you put him in a math-centered, chemistry-centered, he's going to do well. So it came to a master treatment plan with his adoptive family because his 18th birthday was coming up. And therefore, we could not keep a voluntary parental placement beyond that age. We could keep a juvenile justice social service kid, but not a voluntary parental placement. And so a master treatment plan, they flew in, and we had it worked out to where they were going to pay for his college. We were going to get him packed up, set up on the bus to the college, and they were going to pay for his college, pay for his dorm. The cafeteria had food that was all on the same bill. We had worked it out to where they would only have to pay one bill and everything would be taken care of. And he was going to go to college and go on and make a good life. And the day that he turned 18, they called the camp and said, sorry, we've decided not to go that route. We found him a construction job. You need to have him on a bus by 2 p.m. And I cried an hour and 15 minutes to the bus and an hour and 15 minutes back. I made sure he knew my full name. I made sure he remembered my zip code so that if he absolutely needed to find me, he could. And 6-7 years later, he found me and said, I'm actually now like one of the big wigs here because I did go on to school. And he's like, thank you for caring about me. So, but he was from another country, and I would get so tickled because I had such an Appalachian accent. He loved the way I talked. And we would sing the Hokey Pokey some days just to be stupid. If we all had a community day and we were all up top, we would sing songs and we would sing the Hokey Pokey. And he talked so funny, he'd be the Hokey Pokey. And when he got upset, he would look at me and he'd be good like, what the crap? So he would often try to talk like me, but then I would try to talk like him. And I mean, I would have, had I known the situation, I probably would have quit my job and just told the parents, let me adopt him. Let me have him. I'll take him home. He'll fit right in. I would have just taken him in a heartbeat. Because it broke my heart for him to not have the future that he deserved, that he was promised. I mean, they had spent thousands on this camp, but they couldn't spend a little bit more on his education. And I mean, the money was not an issue. It was just desire and greed. And but he showed them, and I told him, I said, you can do this. I said, you can be who you want to be. I said, you're not at camp anymore, and I said, you're not in your parents' home. I said, so you get to dictate your world. I said, please don't let me down. Don't let yourself down. Be who you want to be. Because we had a lot of talks. And he kicked butt, and I'm freaking proud of him. They do check back in. They find me at the oddest times. I've had a couple just get engaged. People can be messed up. I got excused from a lot of master treatment plans because the parents were so out of order. And I would just say, I'm sorry, I have to excuse myself. I cannot participate in this. If we're going to allow this behavior, and we can clearly understand why the child is having this behavior because we're witnessing this behavior, and we're not going to address the behavior, sorry, I'm not going to be part of this. And I get up and walk out. Because I was not going to sign my John Hancock on any master treatment plan that involved parents manipulating staff for financial gain. I'm not here for financial gain. I'm here to fix your kid. No. I don't. If Candace plays the victim card and can prove she was victimized, there's a possibility that they would give her an option, but the option would probably mean drug treatment, therapy sessions, long-term drug treatment. She would have to maintain those therapy sessions. She would highly likely be supervised in some manner for something. either through family court or something. There would be home visits, home checks. I don't believe she would have the momentum to be able to keep up with it. And a lot of it is they put so many stumbling blocks that they have to complete for the court. Most parents never get their kids back. So in some family situations, it's like, why did you give them 6 things when they have one problem they've never been in court before? And the answer was always, well, we can bill for it. Well, okay, but you gave them 6 stumbling blocks. That's going to be 6 times as hard to complete and to get their children back. That was not the issue. The issue is this big, and you made it this big, and now we're going to possibly keep these parents from getting their children back in the quickest and best manner possible. And it boggled my mind. And when I was doing independent counseling, I had families come in, and I would do individual, but I would also do joint therapy sessions if everybody agreed to it. And I would do assessments, and I would then assign and refer them to whatever I thought they would need. So I had a young man come in. He was on probation, so I know he was going to at least once monthly or bi-monthly meetings. I knew he was doing anger management, cognitive behavioral therapy. I knew that he was trying to work, and he was also doing community service. So he had a plate full already. And I was there for an Andy assessment and to help him deal with the root of the issue, which was the drug use that veered him off track. And I said, well, by the time you've got here and you've been in custody, you've been in jail, you've got through everything, you're clean, so there's no need for inpatient, immediate rush you down. And what we're going to do is we're going to put you in an outpatient form. But because of his job and all the other requirements he had, there was no way that he could go to a 3 to 4 day, 3-hour class and work a job and be able to pay all the fines and restitution and everything that he owed. It would have crippled his life. It would have been, it would have been useless. The man would not have been able to do it. And he'd be just like, what the heck, I give up. And I said, instead of doing that, I'm going to take you on and we're going to do individual counseling. And we'll do it late in the evening after your work so that you can maintain your job, maintain your probation, pay your bills, keep your home, and not lose everything in the process. And he said, you're the first person who has cared. And I'm here to tell you that in all of my time working in mental health and in corrections, a lot of it is a financial money racket. There are very few people that care. I have about 4 to 5 solid people that I worked with that I know today I could call and they would help me find placement for anyone that I had that needed a bed. But after a decade or more of working, you'd think I would have more than 4 or 5 solid people. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you think? But you don't. But my manager came in and he said, well, why did you do that? I said, because I'm the therapist, and that was my therapeutic review after his assessment, and that is my treatment plan for him. I just kind of looked at him like that, like, are you going to do my job now? And he said, but we could have billed for this, and I said, and he will lose everything that he has, and he will relapse, and he will go to prison, and he will be another lost soul because you wanted to bill for 5 programs instead of 1 when all he needed is 1 because he's getting all this other aid from probation. He needs to be able to function and have a life as well. We cannot strip him of every piece of humanity that he has. Too much treatment is just as bad as not enough treatment, and people don't understand that. And I would have teenagers come in that would see me like 3 times a week, and they would just be, fried, and it would be recommended by the juvenile courts. And by the 3rd time I saw them that week, they would just be fried. And I would not bill, and I would call their parent, and I would say, we're not going to do this today. They're not in a good place. Come get them. No bill. Okay, just come get them. And my boss would be like, you cost me 3 hours of it. I'm sorry. I could have cost that little soul, you know, a freaking traumatic episode. So you're out 2 billable hours, cry about it. My worry is their mental health. Yeah. Yeah, I did too. I did too. Yeah. Was not the funnest thing, but you learn a lot. You learn a lot, and you learn how to profile people, and you learn how to understand who to trust, not to trust, who to walk away from, who to hang on to. Don't you? And when people come around you and they start love bombing you and making you feel like you're super special, you take a step back and go, what do you want? And that has become one of the most healthy things that I've ever done. And because I grew up in that type of environment, I've been very sure to never place myself back in another one. So, yeah. It was a bad thing, but you can make it a good thing. I made it a good thing. I have never been in somebody else's control ever again. Yeah, I draw all my lines in the sand. And if you cross it, then we will have a problem. And I tell you, we will have a problem. And people go, it's not okay to have problems. It's okay to have problems. Do you know why the world's in a crap storm right now? Because people don't understand that it's okay to have a problem, process the problem, have a dialogue, deal with it. You don't always have to agree, but you do need to get it out, process it, work through it, and move on. And right now, it's either you're super compliant and you're just a herd animal to the government, or you're somebody that's off the rocker. There is no normal in between. We've lost our median ground of commonsensical people, and so all we are now is a polarized, hateful society. Yeah, how we process and handle it matters. It does matter, but it has to be handled. It has to be handled. Not handling it, it just festers and it turns into something else. If you don't handle something, it's just like rust. It will eat away. It will eat away at you. And I'm not sure about most of y'all, but I don't think like I don't want to see anybody have to do like full Bondo body repair. So let's catch it before it spreads. So, yeah, boundaries are the best thing. Making sure that you follow through with your boundaries, making sure that you have expectations for yourself and others, and making sure that when those expectations are broken, you have consequences and ramifications for behavior. And you don't have to be a giant turd about it. That's it. It's how you handle it. How you handle it, how you build your character, and how you overcome, how you climb that mountain. Because you're going to have mountains every day. Every day in your life, you're going to have to climb some hill, mountain, something. And if you train yourself to just face the mountains, it's much better. But people feel bad when they give consequences out. I used to be a people pleaser back when I was very young. I was a people pleaser because I thought it kept me out of trouble. It just kept me too busy to realize all the trouble I was in. That's all it did. And I'm not a people pleaser anymore. And so now especially now that my health limits my energy and what I can do, people will come up and they will ask, for the most absurd, atrocious things from me. And I'm like, no. And they're like, what? No? No. Because it's something you can do. You can take the time out of your world to do it. Sitting and thinking that just because I'm home, I should use my time to benefit you. That's not how this works, because my time at home is used to benefit me. Because on my tab, I'm at the top. And because I'm disabled doesn't mean I've dropped in self-worth. So you need to carve out time to fix your own crap. I'm not shoveling your shitstorm. It ain't mine. I ain't shoveling it. Yeah, I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not mean about it. I just, I will just say no. And then if they get sassy and need an explanation, I will give them an explanation. And then they normally go, okay, I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay, now we understand each other. And I normally lay out consequences for people, like for people that want to be in my circle, friends that I've had. We talk about the consequences. We talk about behaviors, boundaries, and consequences. Yeah, no is the best word that you can ever learn to say. It is. It is. My husband got really mad the first time that my son used a cuss word. Like, he got very mad. And he came to me, like, with my son in tow. And he was like, did you hear what he just said? And I was like, no, what did he just say? And my husband, like, had to whisper it in my ear because my husband's, like, the eternal Boy Scout. And I said, what was the context? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, the whole sentence. How did he use it? And he whispered in my ear. And I looked at my son and I said, you could have picked a better word. Points for grammar. You got it correct. Perfect context. Vocabulary skills, good, but we don't use that vocabulary in this house. So, words are power. But that word is negative points, so now you gotta go do the dishes. You used it right, though. So, cool beans. Don't use it here. And so he just, till he got grown, he wasn't one to cuss a lot. And, he's gotten older, and I don't get to please him anymore, so he can do his own thing. But he's still very respectful around me. And I'm not like a hardline don't, sometimes there are 4-letter words you need to say. And so I understand. I understand. But yeah, well, this went longer than I thought it would. I was just going to hop on. I'm also wanting to make you all aware that my daughter-in-law has a little store on Facebook called Southern Charms, and she does like candles and body butters and face scrubs, and she's one of those that can make everything, anything. She's amazing. I use a lot of her products. And there was somebody on here the other day that asked for one of my son's wood carvings. And they talked to me and explained a little bit about what's going on in their life, and Kate kind of pulled my heartstrings. So he's actually going to be carving one that I can ship without taking a loan out. He's going to be carving a small wooden tree, like the ones that they said that they saw, and I'm going to be shipping that to that subscriber. And I'm thinking maybe once every month or once every couple months. Potentially doing something like that. I know not all of you adore the work I do with the animal hides and stuff like that, and that's okay. But I am potentially thinking about doing something like that every couple of months for subs, just to kind of return the kindness and send y'all a surprise. And there's a possibility. I have a whole lot of like Queen memorabilia. I don't know if y'all all see my tattoos. I have a whole lot of Queen memorabilia. I mean a whole lot. Like a whole room that I can't walk through. I'm actually really good friends with Peter Freestone. If you don't know who Peter Freestone is, look up Peter Freestone. You will not be upset. The man is like walking Xanax. If you're having a bad day, just listen to him talk. He'll bring you right down. So I may be doing some giveaways. I've got some books and some music and some odd little memorabilia stuff. And I need to clear out my room. Yes, I'm a Freddie fan. I was listening. I did a paper in sophomore English over a Queen song. Over Is This the World That We Created? That song. And my sophomore English teacher. I did it between that and Alfred Lord Tennyson's The Lady of Shalott. And my sophomore English teacher just looked at me like I was like the strangest person ever. And I was like, okay, I'm weird. I'm a strange person. But I was going to start doing something like that. He is, yeah. Freddie got me through a lot as a teenager. I'm just going to tell you, a lot. And I think that is why me and Peter Freestone bonded. We became really good friends. We still keep in touch. We chit chat back and forth, and make him Christmas presents and then Christmas presents. And I have a Phoebe. I have a Phoebe tattoo. That's my Phoebe bird. And I asked him. I said, would you care if I add you to my arm to commemorate meeting you, because it was such an important thing? And this was back in 2016, and he said, no, absolutely not. He's like, just send me a picture. And I was like, how am I going to send you a picture? And he was like, I sent you a Facebook friends request. And I thought, oh, he's being so nice. He didn't do that. He's just being nice. He says this to everybody. But he did. And we keep up with each other on various social media platforms, and we chit-chat and talk. And we try to talk at least once every couple of weeks. Whether it's we send a voice message or we sit down and actually chit chat. Normally it's at 3 a.m. because of where he is in placement to the world from me. But that's okay because I don't sleep. So, hey, it works. Great guy. But I've got so much stuff that I need to purge. And so I'm thinking about doing some, if I see like a super kind response to somebody in the comments where somebody takes it upon themselves to go a step farther and help somebody, or I see a thought or a creative extension of a video that just blows my mind, then I'm going to be, picking these people that do these things that make me think, and I'm going to reward you for making me think. And so if I choose you, then I will let you know I choose you, and we will work out how to get in touch so that I can send you something. I can't send everyone a wood carving from my son because that would break me, because those suckers are heavy. But this lady, her story was very special, and my son was touched by the story, so he's going to carve with his chainsaw the smallest wood carving that he can possibly do, and I'm going to ship it to her. I like to make people smile. And then people say, well, that's money. Yeah, money. You can make more money every day. If you don't really have a lot of money, you don't really care about money. It doesn't really rule my world. So if I spend some money shipping something to somebody and it makes them smile, it was worth it. That's where I am. I'm a bumpkin. Nothing special about me. I love that y'all come on and visit and spend time with me, but there's nothing special about me. I think that most of the people that speak up, comment, and leave the wisdom in the comments below, I think y'all are the special ones. I think I'm just the extrovert that doesn't care what people think and gets online. And I think y'all are the thinkers that really keep the momentum and the energy going. So I appreciate you immensely. And I've been in a better mood today, because the perfect PTA mother would not come and have a conversation with me because she's not an adult. I'm relatable. I get so tired of meeting adults that try to, I'm so perfect. I keep my vehicle clean. I keep my yard manicured. I'm just like, is it something I struggle to brush my hair? I barely caught that. Something about subscribing regularly. Can you pop that up again? I don't know how to do that. Type that puppy again and I'll see it. Now, I'm trying to answer that question because I missed it. Throw that one back by me one more time. I've been uploading for a year and a half. I just finally got to where I had enough subs to go live. So what I want to do eventually is to have a topic planned out to do one weekly or every 7 to 10 days, to where we have an actual topic to discuss. And what I've been doing now is just doing random lives to kind of let you all into my world, to get to know me. Because I understand that getting to know the people on YouTube are difficult because most of the time they're scripted. And even when they do lives, they're really scripted. I don't want y'all to stick around if you don't like me. So I've been doing these to let you kind of in on who I am and to understand how I work. I'm quirky, I'm weird, I'm odd. I live a life that most people don't live. I am Appalachian, I am Cherokee and Scots-Irish. I have a very different existence than most people. I'm not apologetic for who I am. And that can turn a lot of people off, and I understand that. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I don't like everybody I meet either. That's okay. That's fine. That's why there's so many people in the world. It's like playing Plinko on The Price is Right. You just try another one. But I've just been trying to let people know, hey, this is me. This is how I am. This is how I relate. This is how my brain works. So, and to let you know, I don't come on here scripted. I just talk. There's a lot of us in this area. You know, this is where I was born and raised. I've moved and lived elsewhere. Question myself sometimes as to why I came back, but I don't know if I could function mentally without being in the hills and hollers and without the people that are here. I can do both. I can switch back and forth. I have days where I don't like to be out and about, and I can just read a book and not talk to a soul. And then I have days where I extremely need human contact. And I have really good friends that understand that in the same way. So if I need to be needy, I will literally like message my best friend and be like, I'm needy today. And so she will spend more time talking to me or sending me funny stuff. I'm actually taking a chance and going out into society this weekend. Because one of my bonus children, I have so many bonus children, one of my bonus children, who is so freaking talented, another one of my bonus children now sings for the Nashville Tenors. Just gonna brag for a second on that one, yeah. But another bonus children who has just turned 18, so he's been doing like security jobs and stuff. He wants to be a wrestler. He's also a really good musician. And so he's doing like his first real serious wrestling match in the next county over. And it's a smaller event, and he can get me seats that are in a certain area, kind of like isolated. And it's important to him for me to be there. I'm his bonus mama. So he came by the other night and asked me if I would be there. And I said, if my legs are having a functioning day, then I will be there. Now, I have to, like, bring a friend with me everywhere I go in case my legs go wonky and somebody else has to drive me home. Neuromuscular disorders, you know, it's just like, you know, you just never know what's going to happen. So, it will be me and one of my good friends going, but we are going to a wrestling match on Friday night. I've never been to a wrestling match. So, yeah, that should be interesting. I'm sure I'll fit right in. Oh, Lord. I fit in normally wherever I go. Have no shame. As y'all saw with my little song last night, I have no shame. Yeah, I don't go anywhere alone anymore because when my legs give, I get about a 3-minute warning that my nerves are ceasing to function correctly, and then it's like, crap. And I have one of those little rolly carts that you can sit on. It's so embarrassing, but they're so handy, so hey, it's okay. And if my legs get bad and I get that signal, then they get my rolly cart for me, and then if they need to drive me home, they drive me home. So yeah, I have really good friends. I have one friend that, like, we've traveled almost everywhere together. We've been to Michigan together. We've been to Georgia together. We've been everywhere together. So we travel well together. We function well together. We have the same sense of humor. We probably would not need to have a camera in the vehicle because people would think we were crazy. But y'all need those people in life. Everybody tries to be so straight-laced and so proper and so, my God, have some fun, smile, make a joke. My goodness. I know when me and my husband first started dating, he was this is, y'all are gonna die laughing. I'm gonna give you a laughing spell, and then I'm gonna shut up for the night. My husband is like the most timid, sweet, shy man. He looks like he would just crack you and move on. Like, he looks evil, but he's the sweetest man ever. I'm the mean one. I tell everybody, I'm the mean one. I'm the one you need to watch out for. He's a sweetheart. Well, he had picked me up for a date. We hadn't been dating very long, and he wanted to go fishing. So we went fishing, and he wanted to give me the Zebco. And I said, I'm not no sissy. You give me an open face rod. So he was like, okay. So we were fishing, and he had overalls on that day. And we had waded a bull pasture or a cow pasture to go to this big pond, and we were coming back, and we got back to the truck, and I noticed him kind of doing a jiggle. And I said, what's the matter? I said, did you get, you go through a pasture, you can get, those chiggers that, as I say, they burrow in and leave their little butts out so you can scratch them. That's what a chigger is, if y'all from the city don't know. Or they're a little bug that will burrow in and leave their hind end hanging out, and they just itch you to death. And he said, no, I think I've got a tick. And I said, well, you better get it before he latches, And he's on the other side of the truck, and he's like, I don't, and like he's got his hands in his overalls, and he's like, I don't think I can reach it. And I was like, just come here, drop trowel and let me get it. And he goes, oh. And I said, listen, buddy, I've been married before, and I have had 2 kids. I know how this works. Been there, done that. Got the t-shirt, got the 2 kids, and the diaper bills. This is a tick. Drop them. And he was like, undoing his overalls, he was like, I feel so exposed. I was like, well, do you want Lyme disease? And that actually came to pass, because last spring he was actually diagnosed with Lyme disease, and he had to go through months and months and months of antibiotics. But he's good now. Big burly man. Sweetest guy in the world. I would not ever want to see him angry. But I'm the one, like, I will run my mouth and tell you what I'm fixing to do to you. You won't know what he's fixing to do to you, but it will be done. So I'm like, I'm the hothead you need to watch out for. He's the one that will finish the job, but nobody will ever see it coming. So we're a strange couple, bless his heart. But yeah, so yeah, that was his first introduction to, I guess, my quirky personality when we were dating. And everybody's like, they get these proposal stories like, oh, and he was on bended knee, and he had this captured, and had dubs released. And I was a divorcee with 2 children, and was just trying to function, and he had taken me to dinner in the next city over, and it was like the end of October. And we hadn't been dating for just a couple, 3 months. We knew immediately that we were going to be together. We just knew immediately. I knew literally within like the first month of dating him that I was going to marry him. And we stopped under a red light, and he was trying to get the billfold out of the back of his jeans so that we were picking up like an iced coffee or something. I want an iced coffee. And then the light turned green, and I said, just go push the clutch, I'll shift gears. And he was like, I just love that about you. And I was like, what? That I can drive a stick? I can drive front end loader too. And he was like, no, he's like, you're always there. You work well. We're a team. We're a good team. And I said, don't get hyped up there, buddy. It's your standard age. It's first, second, third, And he was like, no, I mean more than that. And I was like, yeah, we work well, yeah. The kids really, really gravitated to him. And all of the kids in the family gravitate to him. They know, like, he's the safe teddy bear. And he said, can I keep you? And I looked at him and I said, can you keep me? What does that mean? He goes, well, I was hoping to tie a ribbon on you and make you mine. And I said, oh yeah, well, I was already going to keep you anyway, so that's fine, but I don't want no freaking ribbon. And he said, well, would you like an engagement ring? And I said, don't you go spend a whole lot of money on an engagement ring. No, it's not important. I will break it, lose it. I will lose it hauling hay. I will lose it bush hogging. I've lost 2 sets, people. I'm talented. And he said, well, what do you want me to do? And I was like, go to a pawn shop. Pick out a pretty set that probably cost a whole lot of money. Pay diddly for it. Bring it to me. He's like, well, you don't think that brings bad energy? And I was like, I just got out of a marriage where he met a temp secretary and in 3 days left me with 2 toddlers to raise. I don't think energy is what I'm really worried about right now. You know, I've dealt with far worse than energy. So, and I actually went to the pawn shop and picked out what I wanted, and I said he'll be in Saturday to pay for it. And I went and bought him a size 14 Comfort Fit gold band because he has big lumberjack hands. And that we've been married 11 months. And he had gone deer hunting, and he called and he said, good news, bad news. And I said, okay, bad news. He goes, well, I was gutting the deer and I lost my wedding band. Oh, crap, that was expensive. That's size 14 freaking Comfort Fit so it wouldn't get caught on your freaking chainsaw. He goes, but I got a big 11 point with it's got a drop time. Oh, okay. No, you're forgiven. That's fine. Yeah, buddy, don't even look for the ring. If the gut pile's already gone and some coyote ate it, don't worry about it. It's gone. Just hurry up and get home. I want to see the deer. It's on my living room wall now. So we call it the wedding ring deer. I never bought him another one. I did get him silicone rings to wear, and he wears them if we go anywhere. But I don't always wear mine. He doesn't always wear his, and people get really irritated. You don't wear your wedding band. I know I'm married. Yeah, it's up here. It's not here. It's up here. So yeah, but yeah, we have an odd marriage, but we complement each other well. He is the sweetest man possible. I mean, like the eternal Boy Scout. He adopted and raised my kids. Did not even. I mean, he didn't flinch. He was just already a dad. He just became a dad. And so as a 24-year-old divorced mother, I didn't think I would find somebody that did not have already a family or a past. And I just lucked up and found somebody that was a hard worker that had just kept his nose down and had not ran into somebody. And I keep telling people, if you need love, I'll just, let me put a hole in your radiator because that's what worked for me. You fixed the radiator in my Montero, so that's how we met. But yeah, that was my proposal. My daughter's was much more elaborate on the beach with a photographer. We're totally separate beings, but it was cute. It was pretty. It was her. I am, my husband would bring me flowers for Valentine's Day when we were first married, and I had like horses, and I was like, could you not have just got me like new tack? And so then he'd be like, I don't know what to buy yet. And I was like, just take me to the tack store. And he bought me horses. He would bring home, and he doesn't know anything about horses. And he brought me home a quarter horse paint gelding that was 2 years old. And that was the last horse that I broke out and trained before my neuromuscular order got me and I gained a zip code in my hind end. And I love that horse. And when I had all my surgeries and I knew I was not going to be able to maintain him because he was such a good horse, I actually sold him dirt cheap to a family in Kentucky, and he took all 5 of their children through the Saddle Club. And I still get Christmas cards with pictures of him. He is now 21 years old, and he's still kicking. He's still doing good. And I expect he's probably got 5 or 6 more years in him. He's been well maintained. So, yeah, I even get Christmas cards from people I sell horses to. I'm weird. It's a good weird. But today has been a no drama laugh day. Oh, the Heartland series, or Heartland, the where the girls and the horses. I've tried a couple times, and then I get mad because they're tacking them up wrong, or I get frustrated. And I'm like, that's not real. They shouldn't have done that. That's wrong. Why did they put a creeper on that horse? I get really, I'm like that. So I try, but I haven't quite got into it. I watch weird things. When I get into something, I get completely engrossed, and then I go on to the next thing. So normally I like to watch like the old historical, like the Last Kingdom and all stuff like that, and the strategic kingdoms and how they conquered things. And I'm one of those people. And then I'll turn on, my husband will get mad because I'll turn on, like, Jordan Peterson has his lectures from college classes all over YouTube. And so when I'm cleaning, I'll turn on Jordan Peterson's lectures for his college classes, because he explains things so much better and differently than some of my educators did, so it sticks a little bit better. And my husband will come home and he'll be sitting and I'll be mopping or cleaning around him, and he'll be like, I don't understand a ply blank thing this man is saying. And I'm like, it's okay, you don't have to. We'll watch something else. And then the next thing I know, we're watching swamp loggers. Because my husband, I told my husband he has like a mild fascination with Demetrio, who works the Feller Buncher. I said, I think you like him a little too much. Anybody watches swamp loggers, you'll laugh at that. But I am looking for a new show to get into, because I finished the 100 and I finished a couple of weird ones on Hulu, so I'm looking for a new something to watch. So if you have any ideas, yeah, put them in the comments, let me know, because I have the hardest time finding things that actually entangle my mind. So, and I don't even watch like The Last Kingdom for Uhtred, son of Uhtred. I watch it because he changes horses every season, but then you can identify who's riding the horse that he rode last season for the next season. And it's funny, you can tell like the horse's personalities by who they put on them, because you can tell who really can ride and who really can't. And there is this one white mare in that show that I don't care who they put on her. She's going to behave, but her ears are going to be pinned and she's going to be a hooch. But she's going to behave, but she is going to be an absolute hooch. And I'm just like, call that horse out. She just ruins the whole show for me. And but there is a black gelding that he rides. It's not a stud. It's not a stallion. It's a black gelding. And I am in love with that freaking horse. Do y'all want to know my first crush? Y'all want to know my first crush? The first crush that I would actually like drool over, and like when I had the ability to have him on a movie, to watch replays in slow-mo, it was the horse from The Man from Snowy River, Denny, the little lineback done little buckskin looking thing that went down the hill sideways. I was just I was in love with that horse. That horse was perfection. He didn't look great. He had conformation issues, but he had a good heart, and he would work all day long. And I was in love with that horse. And then I got a little older, and Tom Burlinson started looking pretty good too. But I'm still one that will look at the horses. We will be driving down the road, and my husband will be not paying attention to me, and I'll go, look at the hind end on that one. And he'll be like, what? And I'm like, I got a new quarter horse. He is fine. And my husband's like, I thought you were looking at somebody. And I'm like, nope. My husband saw a lady in a Mayfield truck one day. We were on vacation. He parked next to the Mayfield truck. She had her window down. She looked over and smiled, and I guess it took him by surprise. And he forgot to push the brake at the right time and rolled up on the concrete bunk, the bumper thing. I took off laughing, rolled my window down, because she was like, oh God, are you okay? I rolled my window down and said, you distracted my husband because you're so cute. And I was just dying laughing, and my husband was just so embarrassed. And the kids were with us, and they were dying laughing. And so now every time we pass the Mayfield truck, I'll be like, do you need me to drive? So if I ever do a live and I have my husband here, ask him how Mayfield trucks impact him in his behavior. He will turn 5 shades of red. We're weird people. I think we've chewed the fat enough. I think I need to shut up now. I would spend a lot more time with y'all, but I've got to make me some food because I've not ate good today. And I just like to get on here and giggle because yesterday was a super serious day for me. And I didn't want to have another super serious day today. So today I have just been a complete jackbutt. And it's necessary sometimes. I told my husband, I said if I had a red, yellow, and green warning label of how I am, like yesterday was like a red, yellow day. I said today it's going to be on green and I'm going to be happy all day. And he was like, thanks for checking in. And so he kind of knows what mood I'm in. Sometimes you just need to sit and chit and chat and listen to somebody talk about the real life and real crap and stupidity and dysfunction and struggles and being normal. And you just need to understand that there are people out there just like you struggling. They get woke up by their little Yorkie dog pushing his communication button because he wants you to
Fry me a freaking egg, woman.
fry me a freaking egg, woman. He just gave me another dirty look. So I'm going to fry him an egg, and then I'm going to make me some dinner. And I'm working on a funny video. Yeah, my dog communication buttons are not always childhood friendly. But they make us laugh. I try to always leave them up. I'm learning that sometimes YouTube is a butthole. It takes them a while to get put up. But I try to always leave them up. And I've got a bossy Yorkie too. His name is Kazi. And on a really good day, his name is Chithead. And on a really good day, really good day, his name is, well, listen to this. Okay, if y'all can hear me, or if y'all can hear his feet. Where's Mama's little Chithead? Where's Mama's little Chithead? Buddha 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 butt. Do him ears. Mama's little Chithead. Come here. Come here. He's like, no, I want an egg. I don't want your lap. I want an egg. You're my baby. Come here. Show everybody how precious you are. This is my baby Kazi. This is Kazi. He's my baby. And we call him Chithead. Or I call him my little mosquito because he is wild. Mama's little crackhead. That's what I call him sometimes too. I have a big pug mix too, Oscar. But he's a fat boy. If I try to pick him up, I will throw my back out. Well, we're going to try to do this. We're actually going to try to get it on a routine to where we have a time and we can do this. I'm just trying to do this regularly enough to check in and let people get to know me. So we will get a set schedule here soon. And as long as my health is good, I'll be here. If I'm missing, it's because my health is not good. But chill, I'll be back as soon as my health gets better. If I get put in the hospital, I'll live stream in the hospital. I don't care. I have 2 little monsters. I did have 3. I had a blue heeler that was 11 years old. He was my farm dog, but he passed away last December. Okay, then make sure I don't do my lives when you do your lives. So if I schedule something and it's at a time you schedule something, tell me and I will reschedule mine because that'll be your time. Yeah, we're going to do this and we're actually going to have topics for discussion. I'm actually going to have notes and I'm going to try to get better with technology. And I live in BFE, so my internet can be an absolute crapshoot sometimes, but we're going to try to do some educational stuff. And then we're just going to, sometimes we're just going to shoot, just shoot the breeze and talk about some funny country crap or talk about our imperfections, talk about real things so that, I hate this play when you get on Instagram and these influencers that they're wearing $500 of fake hair and $100 of fake nails. I'm pulling off my nail polish right now as I talk to you. And then these women just, you feel like you can't be anything. They're untouchable. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. And so I'm always gonna be real for you. And if I don't have an answer, I'll tell you I don't have an answer. If I tell you I need to read up on that one, I'll read up on that one. I have a lot of useless knowledge in my brain, but I have gaps. Sometimes there's something that, if it's really important, I will take the time and figure it out. I love you too. I think we have a great family here. I think we have a foundation for a great channel, a foundation to help a lot of people, and a foundation to be a good support group, especially for people that have health issues, because I understand y'all completely, let me tell you. To go from an Amazonian princess that was, you know, freaking Hulk, to being somebody that needs a walker half the time, that's a mind trip. Ah, thank you. Big love to you too. But I'm gonna fry my dog his freaking egg before he revolts, and then I'm gonna try to fold some laundry, and then I'm gonna try to chill out, because today is my good vibe chill day. And tomorrow's gonna be a funny video, and then we'll try to get back to a serious topic, but I'm gonna also try to get my son by here to do the live. I'm gonna probably try to do a live with my son. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do a live or have to video him. It just depends on his demeanor, because he's a ginger, you know, and those gingers, they're spicy, caliente, hoo-hoo. So we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna have that one coming up for you too. So everybody have a wonderful night. If you haven't, go fry an egg for your dog. They'll love you forever. And do something to make yourself smile before you go to bed. And I will try to do something tomorrow to make you smile. And yeah, I'm going to go for my dogs take me hostage. Mama Liz out.